today I'm at my friend's unit and I'm going to be attempting to paint this car again.
But first, let me take you on a history lesson. October 2021 was the first time I ever put paint on a car, and all I did was rattle can the car with primer to prepare it for wrapping, which I was also going to do myself. And the following month, that's exactly what I tried to do. But after a whole roll of vinyl wasted and many failed attempts, I accepted failure. So with half the budget already gone, I decided I would try paint the car instead of wrapping it. To keep the cost as low as possible, I had to borrow as many tools as I could from friends and family. This meant using a tiny compressor, a leaking paint gun, and a broken gazebo with old sheets as a paint booth that only covered half the car. But at this point, there was no turning back. I had put in all the money I had left for this project into the paint job, and I was determined more than ever to do it myself. And after 2 long days, the paint job was done. But once again, I had failed. The car was patchy and nowhere near as good as I wanted it to look. And it got even worse because over the next couple of months, the paint started fading even more. And it didn't stop there because by the time it got to November, the paint was completely gone. So with all that hard work wasted and no money left, I had one more idea.
People keep doing it in the same spot.
Hey, you're getting in my space here.
I'm sorry, but...
Somehow I had convinced myself that by getting hundreds of people to draw on my car, it would give it an edgy touch. But deep down inside, I knew I wouldn't leave it like this. I'm sure many normal people would have given up by now, but as you all know, I don't give up that easy. So by the time January came along, I was ready for my redemption.
Because today I'm at my friend's unit and I'm going to be attempting to paint this car again, and hopefully it'll look a lot better because I have much better equipment and I'm in a better space. But before I get into painting it, there's a few things I have to do first.
So here we go. Mission to make the MX-5 look pretty again, part 4 starts now. And weirdly, I'm feeling super confident about this. Before I can paint anything, I have to remove all the panels that I'm painting off the car and replace any panels that are too far gone, like my front wing. Mine is pretty easy to remove. All I have to do is take off the 2 zip ties at the front, the 4 bolts under the bonnet, and the bolt that's in the door.
People are actually living like this with power tools. This is so quick.
And just like that, it comes off.
Look how bad this is rusted. I can literally, I can push it in. That is so bad.
That's a whole hole.
And that's exactly why we're changing it.
But putting on the new front wing is not as easy as just bolting it back on. As the wheels I'm running are so wide, I have to remove the arch lining. Not only that, but I also have to cut off the mounting tab for the arch liner and the inner lip of the arch itself. Doing that allows me to roll the arch a lot more smoothly, which I have to do to be able to fit the wheels.
Okay, so the arch is on now. I'm not sure if it's rolled enough, but I guess I'll find that out later. Because now I'm going to get onto sanding the car, and this time around I actually have a proper sander instead of just using sandpaper.
Sanding down the car is the most important part of the painting process, and any imperfections that you leave on the car at this stage, it will always show up towards the end. So it's important that you get the car as smooth as possible before you lay down any paint. This is also the hardest and the most boring part of the painting process, but make sure you don't rush it because this will make or break your paint job.
Alright, so I finally finished sanding it and I'm going to show you guys right now what it looks like. I'm inside my paint booth and this is currently the state of the MX-5. It looks amazing. It looks properly sanded down this time. On this part, we've decided to take a couple panels off to paint the car, mainly because when I parked in the booth, to be honest, I parked kind of wonky, so it's a bit restricted around here and I don't want to, do you know what I mean? So we took off a couple of panels and, for example, the boot is on the floor. The side skirts is over there at the front because, like, imagine this and I've got to go, oh! Oh my god! That's why we can't go that low because, you know, I don't want to touch it right now because we've already decreased everything, so I don't want to get my germs on it, but right now it's ready for primer, so I'm going to go make the primer. Let's go!
It's finally time to see if I've sanded the car properly, and like I said before, this could make or break the paint job. If you've seen the previous video, you would know that I thought the base coat that came with the previous paint kit was a primer. But what I now know is that definitely wasn't a primer, and this is.
Oh, that is so thick. It looks like we're making cement.
And this definitely boosted my confidence because I knew that a thick primer would cover any scratches and cover any imperfections if I had any. To say I was scared at this point was an understatement. All the time, money, and hard work spent on this car has come down to this. And all I have to do is not mess it up. The first layer of primer went on pretty smooth, and by the second layer, the car was really starting to take shape. But on the third go, something strange started happening. The primer was so thick that it started showing some pretty heavy buildup in some places. So I decided to let the car dry for a couple of hours, and when I came back, I sanded down the car to try and make the primer as smooth as possible. However, the buildup of primer was so heavy that by the time I had sanded down the whole car, there were some areas without any primer. This left me feeling pretty worried. I had such a nightmare because the primer was really rough when we came back. So with the sanding down the primer, we were gonna use 400 grit and it wasn't working. So we had to go down to 300 grit. And now it's smooth, all that bubble stuff is gone. I'm actually really nervous that some of these patches might show, but everyone is guaranteeing me that it won't. But I don't know, because of what happened last time, I'm very nervous. But at least it's smooth, that's the main thing. The car's smooth, but there is a few patches. Let's see if it shows up in the paint. Actually, I haven't even opened anything, so I'm gonna mix it up and get straight to it. So this is the first time we're all gonna see the paint. I actually have seen it. None of the cameraman hasn't seen it, nor Matt, because they didn't come to the paint shop. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. This is very pink and exactly what I wanted. This is gonna look so cool, like a Barbie car.
It's not like that shitty salmon-y pink.
No, I don't really like pastel pink, like salmon pink. I like hot, fiery pink. And this kind of, I'm hoping will look a bit purple in the dark. I'm really happy with the colours, to be honest. Here we go then. Over the past 2 years, I have been learning everything I could about bodywork and painting, and I was about to find out if I had been wasting my time and money, or the car was about to look amazing. The first coat of paint is just a dust coat, which allows the paint to stick better to the car. But I could really start seeing the difference on the second and third layer of paint, and by the time I had laid the clear coat on, a piece of beauty was sitting right in front of me. 3 years ago today, not only did I not know anything about bodywork, but I also had no idea about cars, let alone ever having picked up a tool before. You will never be an expert at anything you do until you get stuck in, try it, and fail over and over again. And that has always been the point of this car. To me, it's much more than just a car, it's a representation of how far I've come, how much I've learned, and most importantly, that I never give up. But the question still remains, was it all worth it? Have these little marks over here. This bit ripped off a bit. This actually has another bit of vinyl over there. So we can't wrap it. I put the battery back in, it's been on charge, the car's not starting. I'm really just debating my life choices right now and I just need to go. Everything is back on the car now, and as you guys can kind of tell, the conditions are not perfect for painting the car. There is so much wet, it is freezing and there's condensation everywhere. So it actually looks pretty decent from far away, but when you look closer you can tell that there's some patchy pieces and the body kit is a slight different shade of pink. And the gazebo touched the After 2 weekends and a year of waiting for myself to repaint this car, I finally did it. And you know what? I didn't think I've done too much of a bad job. I was so nervous before, but honestly, I'm nearly crying. Like I'm speechless. I'm so proud of myself that I've done this car. And obviously it's not perfect, guys. There are some problems, but compared to the last time I painted it, this looks incredible. Look, even the shade of pink this time around is perfect. I'm so happy I messed up the last time because it taught me so much. As you can see, it's been snowing here and I've got to get the car an hour to my house. So hopefully I make it safely. There is grit down, but I'll see you guys in the next video and hopefully it's still in one piece.